Yamuna tira vanasari Yamuna tira vanasari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I got. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath, Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. I mean, today verse is 11, no?
Yes, 11. This is 10.
It's okay.
We had a little chaos here.
No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Mutirayet
Yogayam Mudire.
Nasta Presu Abastresu
Nasta Presha Bhadeshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
Hare Krishna, I'm very fortunate to be with you all, association this morning. And we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 25, text number 11. Is that right, Prabhu? Huh? So navesamana saranam.
Sonveshamana Sharanam.
So navesamana saranam.
Sonveshamana Sharanam.
Babrama pravityam Prabhu.
Brahma Pridivim Prabhu.
Babrama pravityam Prabhu.
Brahma Pridivim Prabhu.
Manurupam yada vindat.
Nanurupam Yada Vinda.
Nanurupam yada vindat.
Nanurupam Yada Vinda.
Abhi utso vimana iva.
Abhutsa Vimana Iva.
Abhu utsa vimana iva.
Abhutsa Vimana Iva.
Anybody want to try?
Sonveshamana Sharanam.
Vesamana saranam.
Brahma Pridivim Prabhu.
Babrama pravityam Prabhu.
Nanurupam Yada Vinda.
Nanurupam yada vindat.
Abhutsa Vimana Iva.
Abhutsavi vimana viva.
Vishwamana Sharanam
Vastamana saranam.
Brahma Privitrim Prabhu
Babrama vavitrim Prabhu.
Nanurupam Yada Vindat
Yadurupam yada vindat.
Abhutsa Vimana Iva
Abhutsavi vimana viva. Vesamana saranam. Bhavana pravittivim Prabhu. Manurupam yada vindat. Abhutsavi vama iva. Vesamana saranam. Brahma vitri Prabhu. Nanurupam yada vintat. Avutsa Vimana Viva. Translation purport given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I will go by word by word. Saw that King Puranchana Anvesamana searching after Saranam shelter Babrahma traveled over Prativim the old planet Earth Prabhu to become an independent master Na never Anurupam to his liking Yada when Avindat he could find Abut became Sa E Vimana morose Iva like. Translation. King Puranchana began to search for a suitable place to live, and thus he traveled all over the world. Even after a great deal of traveling, he could not find a place just his liking. Finally, he became morose and disappointed. The traveling of Puranchana are similar to the traveling of the modern hippies. Generally, hippies are sons of great fathers and great families. It is not that they are always poor, but some way or another, they abandon the shelter of their rich fathers and travel all over the world. As stated in this verse, the living entity wants to become a Prabhu or master. The word Prabhu means master, but actually the living entity is not a master. He is the eternal servant of God. When the living entity abandons the shelter of the God, Krishna, and he tries to become a Prabhu independently, he travels all over the creation. There are 8,400,000 species of life and millions and trillions of planets within the creations. The living entity wanders throughout these various types of bodies and throughout different planets, and thus he like King Puranchana, who travel all over the world looking for a suitable place to live. Sri Rajamani Dasa Thakur has sung Karma Kanda Jnana Kanda Kevala Visare Bandha. The path of Karma Kanda, fruitive activities, and the path of Jnana Kanda, speculation, are just like strong pots of poison. Amrita, Baliya, Yeba Kaya, Nana Yoni Sada Pire. A person who makes this poison to be a nectar and drinks it travels in different species of life. Kadraya Bhakshana Kara. And according to his body and eats all type of abominable things. For instance, when a living entity is in the body of hog, he eats stool. When the living entity is in the body of crow, he eats all kinds of refuse, even pus and mucus, and enjoy it. The Rajamani Dasa Thakur points out that the living entity travels in the different type of bodies and eats all kinds of abominable things. When he does not become ultimately happy, he becomes morose or takes to the ways of hippies. Thus in the verse it is said, Na Anurupam, that the king could never find a place suitable for his purpose. This is because any form of life and any planet in the material world, a living entity cannot be happy because everything is in the material world is unsuitable for the spirit soul. As stated in the verse, the living entity independently wants to become a Prabhu. But as soon as give up this idea and becomes a servant of God, Krishna, his happiness immediately begins. Therefore, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur sing, Mike Mayara Vase Yacha Bese Kacha Kabudu Bu Bai. My dear living entity, why you are being carried away by the waves of Maya as stated in Bhagavad Gita 1861. Isvara sarva bhutanam hridayase arjuna tishtati bhamaya sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as a machine made of material energy. The living entities carried in the machine of the body through so many species of life on so many planets. Therefore, Bhakti Vinod Thakur asked the living entity why he is being carried away in these bodily machines to be placed in so many different circumstances. He advised that one surrender the waves of Maya by surrendering unto Krishna. Jive Krishna Dasa e Visvasa Kaleta Hara Dukkha Nai. As soon as we confront Krishna advice, Sarvadharman Parityachya Mamekam Saranam Vraja Am Tvam Sarvapapepyo Mokshashyami Mashusha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.16-60. Thus we are immediately relieved from traveling from one body to another and from one planet to another. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva. Chaitanya Saradamiram Madhya Lila 19.151. If while traveling a living entity becomes fortunate enough to become blessed by the association of devotees and to come to Krishna conscious, its real life actually begins. This Krishna conscious movement is giving all wandering living entities a chance to take to the shelter of Krishna and thus become happy. In this verse, the word Vimana, Iva are very significant. In this material world, even the great king of heaven is also full of anxiety. If even Lord Brahma is full of anxiety, what of these ordinary living entities who are working within the planet? Bhagavad Gita 8.16 confirm, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punara Avirtina Arjuna. From the highest planet in material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein a repeated birth and death takes place. In the material world, a living entity is never satisfied. Even in the position of Brahma, or in the position of Indra, or Chandra, one is full of anxiety, simply because he has accepted this material world as a place of happiness. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Satchurum Milidam Mene Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhastaya Budale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pashatya Tesatarine Vanja Kalpatarupchacha Kirba Sindhupevasa Padidanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavipyo Namo Nama. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Kadatara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Virinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are all wanted happiness, and the whole world is looking for happiness, because it is the nature of the jiva to be happy, because jiva's character eternal and knowledge and blissful. This is the original character of the jiva. He want to be happy, but he's traveling through many varieties of species, but he could not find happiness here, because this is not the place for the jiva to live. It is said very clearly, the fish come out of the water. If you take the fish out of the water, it will not. You can make artificially decorated things, like an aquarium and all this thing, but he will not have real happiness. Temporary happiness there. Similarly, the jiva, here it says Puranjana. Puranjana is traveling all over the world to get happiness. And Prithu Maharaj, we all know that, in previous chapter we talk about the Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj gave 4 advices for his assembly. When living entity have these 4 qualities, he will be auspicious and happy, even this world. First of all, he should have the Brahmanical qualities, like Sama, Dhamma, Tapa, Saucham, Chantricham, Arjavam, Eva, Sha, Jananam, Vidyanam, Akicham, Brahma, Karma, Sabhajayam. These Brahmanical qualities, peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmana work. And second, he said we should be always gratitude towards Krishna, because Krishna is providing everything to us. We should be simply gratitude to Krishna. And third, we should always get the guidance from pure devotees. Like Prabhupada, we know pure devotees because we have got the books from Prabhupada. It's not different from Prabhupada's instructions. And in 10,000 years, of course, we have these literatures by grace of the Lord. And therefore, we can get the guidance from Prabhupada. Even he's physically not here, but his guidance are there in the scriptures. And also the quality mean, the Brahmanical quality also, it behaves, the Brahmana is also behave, very nicely, it's very humbly. And these qualities, when you cultivate, then you have auspiciousness. Wherever you go, the auspiciousness is with you. And Prabhupada also wanted to create Brahmanas, because now in this world, most of us are Sudras. Or some of them are Vaishyas are there. And the huge body is, all Sudras are there. Legs are there, and some bellies are there, but there is no arms. That means Satriyas. Hardly find anyone Satriyas in this world. And also, anyhow, there's no head. And therefore, Prabhupada wanted to create, Brahmanas, because these qualities, as I read before, then, of course, this world will be a different place. That's what actually Prithu Maharaj also says, And then there was a king. That king was, those days the kings actually very pious. Actually, they are Raja Rishis. They invite mostly sadhus to their kingdom and get advice from them. And as usual, the king invited one sadhu, and he gave his throne to sit and do all the formalities and ask, my dear sadhu, please advise me how we can improve my spiritual life, how I can get the Lord's blessing. Then king the sadhu immediately got up from the throne and went to the pillar and hugged, embraced the pillar and said, let go, let go, let go. Then the king was thinking, but the lesson is going to teach us from there, let go. And then he came back and sat down, on this asana, and he said, this is the problem. We want it, but we are attached to. We want to go to Krishna. At the same time, we are also attached to the material world. And we wanted to ask always, when the sadhus come, we ask always, sadhus, please guide us. But they are there to guide us, but we are still attached to, And also, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, it's a story of boatman. The boat was tightened in the soul, and the boatman was trying to, go further, but the boat is not going because he's already tied up. the same way we are also, somehow, still, because we are hearing every day Bhagavatam class and everything. We know that we are not body, we are spirit, soul. But when we go out, the situation create, and actually again, because we are conditioned in this life. Therefore, it is very, very difficult to come out of the Maya's hands. That's what actually the Puranjana is traveling all over the world, like the soul is traveling all over the world. And also the super soul, the unknown friend. It is mentioned in the previous verses, unknown friend, in, what is his name, the unknown friend? Avijanata. He's also traveling with us to see, help. He always there with us. But we doesn't want to take the help. What is unknown friend? Can anybody say why he says unknown friend? Because we cannot see him, Paramatma. And also we have no conscious about Paramatma. Therefore, unknown friend is mentioned here. And he is traveling with us in every species of life. But what happened actually, it is also mentioned here about the hippies. And I like to mention one Maharaj was giving a Srimad Bhagavatam class. And he was himself also hippie, and he gave all the, he came from a very rich family. He had a sport car, boat, big house, and also plane. Everything he had, and he had a place in Bahamas. In one side of beach they already bought. Actually, they belong to them. One part of the beach, and so much opulence and everything. But he was also hippie, and he went to Bahamas, alone because he enjoyed in America. Then they said he went to Bahamas. For more enjoyment, but he discussed that there nothing much because he's alone there, Then again he thought, actually I come to Europe, then Europe maybe something different. Then he came to Paris, and Paris, of course, he met some American friends, and friends told him, we go to find some girls. Then he was asking, we are doing the same thing there in America. What is the point of then he went also like Vatican to see the church and all these things, and again he was thinking that I should go to Bahamas again. Then he went to Bahamas again, and there after that it was disgusted. That's what is morose, he says, and this way the spirit soul is morose. You don't know what. And at that time he got the album of Prabhupada, the Maha Mantra. Then he was hearing that, and repeatedly hearing. Somehow, it is Paramatma's mercy. He was hearing. Then he got connected to the Prabhupada, and he got initiated, and he's a Maharaj now. And he's also gave some interesting things actually, because these living entities like crow and all monkeys and all, it is all in the spiritual world. They have the spiritual body, and even Radharani had a pet, monkey called. There's a name also given here. Monkey and peacock. That's the name. I forget it. And the all that there. It's because here it's a law conscious. Because now we know the monkey and the crow. Crow is bird. Eat all the rubbish and all these things. But it is different actually, because they have the ability, because even they have got the four-handed form there. But because they served here, because for example, when the Lord Ram was here, when he was a babyhood, he was playing with the crow. The crow was playing with Lord Ram. At the same crow, I was in spiritual world, and he had this mood actually. Then he takes this mood to play again with the Lord actually. Because the same mood they will take, but it is a pure conscious. But in one sense, of course, we are all in Maya. Mahamaya or Yogamaya. This is the difference. Because when we in material world, we want to be a Prabhu. In spiritual world, we think that, Krishna is my beloved son, is my friend, is my master. And this way we have the relationship. The difference is that, when we come to the material world, we want to be a master. We actually leave Krishna. We want to enjoy separately. Therefore, we are wandering birth after birth after birth after, and we will not get enjoyment. Then we will discuss it. And that's what Krishna says. After many births, one connected with the devotees association, and we are all fortunate that we got this opportunity. But the question is actually that we have got that, but we should also, cautious about that, that we think that we should, fully use this opportunity. Because sometimes the devotees, think so. Now we have Krishna consciousness, they very, very simply they take, that is dangerous. Because definitely they will get a next birth. As a human birth, they will start from the place where they lived. But the question is, it is in material world, it is suffering, because if they will not get enjoyment here. Whatever they tried, because that's what even Lord Brahma also anxiety. And what to talk about ourselves actually. He lives trillions of life. But he still is also, in anxiety, like Indra or all other demigods. And therefore, we should use this lifetime that we got this opportunity, that fully to serve the Lord. And because still we have the enjoyment propensity. It is there. I remember. Not last year, 21. As our Damodar Prasad Prabhu took over the presidency of this temple, then we interview him. When we had an event. Swiss Tamil Christian Society. In noon class, we invited both of them. Krishna Vemarupa Prabhu and also Damodar Prasad Prabhu. I interview him actually because I want to introduce the people. How they came to Krishna consciousness, and I asked him actually because young age. You get, you have got so enormous enjoyment, opportunity. Then you give up everything and came into Krishna consciousness. What makes you to come in? Remember? And he said, at the age of 19 or 20, he has completely, enjoying. Permanence is finished. Is it right, Prabhuji? Then he came to Krishna consciousness. It is like that actually, because everything is there, but we will not have full happiness here. That is actually, but the problem is actually, because when a material person, they will not understand this. That's what actually, therefore, the Narada Muni giving indirectly Pranchana stories. To bring them, because if you tell a person, no, you are not a soul, they will not understand. Then we have to go in a different way, because the acharyas are very experts, and Narada Muni actually is Sakti Avatar, and it is also interesting. The Lord Prachinabhari's sons, Prachetas, Lord Shiva came to give advice to them and gave them mantra to meditate. And similarly, Narada Muni came to the fathers, because the father was, doing so many austerities, like sacrifices and all these things. But if the reason behind it, he want to enjoy. That is the reason. But in this, all this, then of course, it is fortune that he got the pure soul. The Narada Muni's association. Then he surrendered to him and asked him actually. Then of course, in further verses, it will be given hammer actually. To us, because this is the world. Of course, we have to detach and renounce. That's what actually this all these followings. I mean, it's local. I mean, the verses are. I mean, emphasizing us. This is what actually Narada Muni was, try to give Patina Borish, and we cannot enjoy here. We just pretend actually. We think, because I remember when I was young, when I was thinking I should have a house, I should have a big car, and this and that. But now we have everything, but I'm not satisfied. No, this is the conscious actually, because this is the conscious I had, when I should earn money and I should have this, this and that. But enjoyment is not there. It's still disgusted, and what to talk about and other things, And therefore, it is. We are very fortunate. We are all got this opportunity by the association of devotees. But there are many millions and billions of souls are there, traveling around this, and whatever we got this opportunity, we have to give them also, because we are also, before we came to Krishna consciousness, when we see our back, our young age. Because we are also like this same, like hippies actually. We are traveling around actually. We are searching actually, enjoyment. Because eating, sleeping, mating, depending. These things we are doing in a culture way. That's all only. And nothing else. Because I don't understand it. But now only I understand actually, because I'm also like this. Before, because we wear, we wear, pants, dress, and all these things nicely. But we are also doing the same thing like the animal, eating, sleeping, mating, and depending. But unless one person connected to the devotee association, there is no chance of it at all. And also this world, of course, when you see. ISKCON and also Sri Sampradaya in South India, that they are preaching a little bit. Out of ISKCON, there's no other society or other form of preaching the world, because they are not giving the real, real knowledge to the people. That. And therefore, we have a big responsibility, that we have got only few, devotees, but even we have got a great responsibility. And especially as a Brahmana, because they are the leaders of the society. Therefore, they should cultivate, not just put in the thread and say, I'm Brahmana. Doesn't matter, because, there are many Brahmanas there on the outside, actually, but they are not preaching. They are not even giving the right path of way. Even the dharma, they are not preaching. That's because of that, the whole chaotic condition now. Therefore, I came to because we should combinedly, all work together and bring this Krishna consciousness to whatever possibility to the other living entities who is a real still traveling around. At least in Zurich they are traveling around. And therefore it is our duty to bring them this knowledge actually as a postman of Lord. And I will stop here, and if any questions, so please.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
It's always good to hear some Vijnana, some realized knowledge, and that's always the case when you give class. It's nice. Jai Jagannath. You made a point that you gave the example of Damodar Prasad Prabhu, who in a young age realized that actually that is not. I try to enjoy, but it doesn't really make me satisfied, and then deciding to come to the temple. So people outside, they also realize that actually they're not satisfied, but they try again. right?
That's true.
They just continue trying. They continue trying. But the devotees are somehow those people who somehow they realize that we have to do something different, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Can you explain how is it that what's the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee? How is that the devotee can make that shift? What is the difference?
I mean, in my case, actually, I don't know. I mean, age of 11, I went to Buddhist temple to worship Lord Vishnu. I have no idea about anything. Age of 11, I mean, my house was close to the Buddhist temple. I mean, I was surrounded by the Buddhist people. And I somehow, I go to the Buddhist temple, they have big Lord Vishnu statue, because they also worship Lord Vishnu. And I go there to worship Lord Vishnu. I mean, I have no idea. I will tell you the truth. I have no idea, but I have some attraction to Lord Vishnu. And this way, I mean, I was so attracted, as soon as I came here, and I got the connection from Nimal Krishna Prabhu first, actually. Then I came here, to clean the pots and clean all the plates and everything, and cleaning the prasadam room actually first time. And this way, I mean, I was coming regularly. And I didn't go to any other temples actually, And first I came to this temple, because when I was in Sri Lanka, I used to go. My family used to go to demigod temple, Lord Shiva temple, Muruga temple, and Kartikeya temple. They worship all demigods. It is natural in Hindu culture. Actually, they worship all the demigods. And when I came here, then I got connected. Then, of course, because then my family started, okay, I should get married now, because this is another case. Comes automatically. Then I told him, because I'm following all this, Krishna worshipping, and I'm also vegetarian, completely. I know it is difficult. Then they, I mean, my horoscope actually, they what happened, I mean, now in our culture, because in Indian culture or the Vedic culture, they see the horoscope both, I mean, man and woman. They see the matching points, like the all the things. Even above 80, it is okay, the marriageable. In this way, I mean, I did not know I never see her before. It is actually for the Westerners, something, unimaginable. But it is like that happen actually. Then my sister, my mother is passed away. I mean, my father is passed away, and my mother is very old. Of course, she cannot walk. She had got a lot of disease, and my sister arranged everything, and then she came. Then we got married in this temple 23 years ago. And Mandli Badra was the priest actually.
So your wife came from Sri Lanka to Switzerland?
Yeah. And then we got married here. No. And this way happened. I mean, it is connected somehow. I mean, I think from previous life there's a connection there. And this is actually, once in a class, Bhakti Vikas Swami said, you will not, it is not it's not that actually that you are, by chance you came to Krishna consciousness. There are some connections, but we do not know. That's it actually. The Paramatma knows. Even small thing, if you does, the Paramatma will never forget. When the time comes, then he will connect it. And therefore, I'm very fortunate, that I got this connection of the devotees. And otherwise, I'm also traveling still. Like others. And I'm thankful to devotees and the association, that we get. And also we learn a lot of things, by doing it. I met many devotees. Some of them also left the ISKCON, and then I asked myself why, because they are very learned persons, pandits. Sometimes I met them. And but why they leave? The problem is, after some time we get some prideness that without knowing you get this actually, that I know well, I am actually completely understand. Then the problem starts. then you will be, kicked out. No, it just happen. I mean, because then you will be kicked out actually. Because therefore, always the situation arises actually. Because sometime, because happen. Then we should always think, I am a servant and servant to servant to servant. Dasanu, dasanu, dasan. This mood we have to always, otherwise, you will be kept by Maya. Even in the temple, you can, capture very quickly. That is, there's no, because Maya is energy, Lord's energy. Then it is very, very, therefore we have to always cautious about it, Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Prabhu, you were saying how, so we got this opportunity, so we should also share Krishna consciousness, but I see it's very difficult for many devotees, and also for myself sometimes, to actually do something in the preaching mission. And we can see so few devotees are actually actively engaged in the preaching. So why is that, and what can we do, like from your experience of quite some time in Krishna consciousness, how can we improve?
These situations are always there arising actually. Because I remember about 20 years ago, I had a little conflict with the devotee. I was thinking I should not come for noon arati. I had to come from the evening arati because I avoid that actually, the connection, But men, avoid this, and these things are already there because sometimes because we also discussed it, because other devotees are not doing, only I had to do everything. No, it is there because because it is of the neophyte state actually we have this conscious. But after some time, then you understand, that soul is still not come to that level. I mean, and others are there, but they are not in a level to take off the responsibility. You see how many devotees are taking responsibility, Very few. One time Rasayana Prabhu told us, actually, because many times, the devotees doesn't come to service actually. He will just spring on and do the seva. Then he always thinks that it's the mercy of the Lord that I got this seva to do it. And similarly, I mean, I suggest that that is the mercy of the Lord that you inspired. Don't depress yourself. That sometimes you will depress actually. No, that devotee is not doing it. No, because this is there. I mean, because you see that you have got this fortune, and you have this. I mean, your young age, you have got this very wonderful thing actually. And don't leave your mind to depress. And we will also, because that's what I mean, because my point is actually, because not only Prabhu, even the Matajis, because in Prabhupada's mission, it is Prabhu and Mataji, they both can preach. Both can, I mean, they're both, I mean, even in a small child, Prabhupada says, Lakshmi is name, Lakshmi or Saraswati? Saraswati. Saraswati, who is God? Krishna. Very simple. And therefore, we all can preach. That the only thing is that the question is, we have to teach them, and we have to bring them to, understand. That is missing point in our society. We have to bring them that, think that, because we all get fortune. But this fortunate we have to distribute to others. Then it will grow more. Otherwise, it will be stuck. It's only, myself. Then then it will not a good situation, because sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness, now we are in a Krishna conscious. No, it is happened actually in our society also. I sometimes mean, because this is not that actually, because this is not Prabhupada's mission actually. Prabhupada's mission is to give. This is the Brahmana's quality. Otherwise, what is the point of Brahmana? Just to put the thread on and say that I am Brahmana, No. Is it okay, Prabhuji? It's not too much for you.
So, the point of why is it so difficult is just because we're not on that level. So
we are not in that level. We always think actually, because we are thinking of other persons. Oh, he's not doing that. He's not, because we are in the neophyte state. When you're in advanced state, then you think actually they are. I mean, they are still not in that level. Actually, they are. I have to help them, or we have to help them to bring up to that level, and therefore we have to be very patient. And go day by day, the thinking that the Krishna will help me.
But in one sense, this can also be an excuse. Okay, I'm not on that level, so okay, I just wait. But I think this level comes if you just try, And I feel like we are not trying enough, to actually do something.
But the problem is actually, because every individual had a freedom. The Lord given us the freedom. I mean, we cannot force anybody to do anything. Because the Lord also didn't force anybody actually. He said, no, Lord says, cooperate with me. And similarly, we cannot force anybody to do this and that. But only thing, when the postman comes actually, when you take initiation, then you can actually tell them, please. Then now we are initiated devotee. Now we have to take some responsibility. That is actually Prabhupada also. That at the beginning, Prabhupada didn't chase any devotees actually. Because even they made a lot of mistakes. Some people smoking and making Jagannath actually decoration and all these things. He didn't scold them. No, it is happened. It is true. But Prabhupada was so patiently waiting. But after initiated, Prabhupada was chastising. Go do that. And I remember I told the Amudra Prasad one story. Once, the Gaur Govinda Maharaj was given in India, what is the part of India in Jagannath Puri? Bhubaneswara, in charge of temple, is the temple president there, Bhubaneswara. And Prabhupada also gave him, translate the books to another language. Then Prabhupada came all of a sudden to Bhubaneswara and is speaking with Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Now, so how he's doing everything? He said, I'm trying to do Prabhupada. And how about the translation? He said, I could not do. I'm just running around managing the temple, No, this is not your job. You have to do the translation. This is the important than that. He said, nobody there to manage this. Then Prabhupada immediately saw one Western devotee was there. He was planned to fly, next day to America. Then he called the Western devotee, and the Western devotee said, Prabhupada, I'm ready to do anything for you. Prabhupada said, yes, wonderful. You stay here, and you take the responsibility, and you stay here. He said, oh no, Prabhupada, I have so much responsibility there in California. I have to do this and that. He said, no, I will take everything. You just stay here. He was giving many excuses, to Prabhupada that that he should avoid that. He said, oh, my Indian climate is not, it is not. No, don't worry, we will do everything for you. And similarly, it takes some time, because everybody is not the same level, Therefore, we have to be patiently, that you think that you got this opportunity, very, very good. Hare Krishna.
I just, some thoughts run through my mind, and I feel like I would like to express it just for myself to understand better. I was thinking this word preaching, it's a small word, but in ISKCON it's important. And I was just thinking how Bhaktisiddhanta, he said, it takes gallons of blood to make a devotee.
Yeah.
And what he was saying is that our goal is to make devotees.
Yeah.
And devotee means a pure devotee. It means nothing less. And it takes gallons of blood. It's such a hard work to bring a soul to this stage. And that shows, and how is it done? By association, by preaching, by these kind of things, by helping others, And I feel in ISKCON sometimes there is a very simplistic approach to what preaching means, that if you give somebody a book, then you're a preacher. But in a more broad sense, everybody can be a preacher. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita even says, the one who preaches to my devotee, he's most dear to me. And so in ISKCON, I think the point is so nice that how can we encourage to preach? Because in order to elevate all the souls, okay, they came, they got a book, but then they're not devotees yet, to be honest. most are not. They have to slowly come up. So, and then who will bring them up? The devotees.
Yeah.
They have to preach. Means they have to preach among themselves.
Yeah.
And another thought that ran through my mind, then what is preaching actually? And somehow this from Upadeshamrita to inquire in confidence and to share in confidence, Rupa Goswami describes. And because you cannot preach to somebody who's not open. Some openness has to be there. And I was just remembering how the other day Anadi Gaurangi Mataji came to me and she asked me a question. And it was some kind of, I felt it was a philosophical and a sincere question, and I felt it was very sincere. And I could see how I was confronted, you know, that I have to go deep within myself. And in one sense I felt like, even though she's asking me something, and I have to give an answer, I'm the preacher, it's kind of almost, she's triggering me to go deeper in my Krishna consciousness. And also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no, that Machita Matkata Pranam Bodhayatu Parasparam Katyandasya Mam Nityam Tushanti Charamanti Cha. That's the life and soul of the devotees, to preach to each other constantly. So I just felt sharing that devotees should try to create that environment where everybody feels encouraged to preach, to inquire and also to share. And if we don't manage to establish it amongst ourselves, then it's almost maybe superficial to say, you know, you go out and preach, but amongst ourselves we are sometimes closed down and not open-minded enough to receive or give those who live closest to us. So, few thoughts on maybe how we can increase the preaching spirit by charity starts at home.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You know, the problem is actually, you know, in our society, of course, you know, we haven't started actually, you know, preaching among us. That means, you know, we still actually going on a surface. You know, that means, you know, in outwardly we are going. I mean, you know. But when you go deeper, you know, because there are some initiated devotees, you know, we have got in our society about 35 initiated devotees. But when you see that Prabhus are doing some classes, but Mataji also has to do some classes, you know, among them. Then only, because, you know, by reading it, by, you know, by speaking, then I had to learn so many things. I had to hear so many things. Then I had to share this to others. Then by learning. By doing your learning, actually. At the same time, we should also understand that we cannot know everything. I will tell you once, you know, when Prabhu was giving class, you know, the Jagat Prabhu told me, one person get up and ask me, do you know the 50th son of Dhritarashtra? Name of anybody? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Because 100 sons, you know, names. 100 names, who will meditate on? No. The same thing, I mean, we do not understand fully. That we have to always think. But we can learn that by her questions, you know, then you start learning. Oh, if you don't know what happened, if I don't know, I will just ask my Maharaj, please help me that I got questions like this. Even Maharaj also sometime, you know, in the classes, if he says, he will note it down. He will say, I will ask my superiors. This way we learn. That means we should always think that we cannot learn fully. That is our nature. Everybody, even all, you know, I mean, like acharyas, they are completely, that is different. But ourselves, actually, we are sadhakas. We are still trying. And therefore, it is not so, because we are not, you know, just always reading and, you know, sitting in one place. We are doing activities. The whole day, I mean, you know, when you take yourself, you know, you have so many sevas to do. It's a great responsibility. Therefore, we cannot always. But you are, by doing it, by, you know, learning, well, we are learning every day. That Krishna will be very satisfied. Therefore, you don't think that, you know, oh, no, I am not, you know, so much, I didn't know that. No. You learn, but the morning classes you are hearing, and after that you will leave class and you chant your rounds, you know, then you're doing some seva. And this way we are learning it, you know, this process will go. And Krishna will see that actually, because that's at Krishna's, because Krishna doesn't want, that 100 slokas, because when you go to the spiritual world, how many slokas you know? He will not ask that. No, this is not a question.